Rohan, just tell us about Mikhail Gudimon, first of all. How long has he been on your radar, and what's he going to bring to the team?
That was a reasonably sort of quick process to get him across the line. I watched him a bunch last year, when I was sort of studying the game when I first arrived, and sort of always been on the radar if he was ever available. That I think he's a sort of player that would suit our group. He's very physical, tough, experienced, but quite low mileage also for his age. I think he's got his best years ahead, and he's versatile. He can play in the middle, or he can do a job on the edge as well. So he'll complement what we've got there as far as a reasonably young forward pack. So he'll bring a little bit of experience to that, and some winning experience as well. In his time at Catalans, he's won a lot of games.
I was going to ask you whether you saw him as a front row or a back row. You sort of see him interchangeable, really, in that respect.
Yeah, he's a player that's fit multiple roles in his time so far, where he's played big minutes, or he's played sort of more impactful minutes as well. He's, in the end, minutes are earned, sort of not given. So we see the versatility and experience as real positive attributes for us going forward.
And predominantly, he's been used off the bench, hasn't he, by Catalan? Do you see him in a similar role for you, or could he potentially be a starter?
Oh, we'll see what happens as next preseason unfolds. We've still got a lot of this season to get going. It's good to get that signing announced, but very much about what we're doing right now.
And Justin Sangari will have a French friend as well, won't he now?
Yeah, and our head of performance, Rich Hunnick, speaks good French, so the three of them can talk about old times, or keep their French sharp.
Just on the subject of deals, there has been some suggestion that the club's not been able to agree a new one with Blake Austin. Are you resigned to him not being there next year?
It's a two-way street. Every negotiation, Blake has the opportunity to see what else is out there, but he's also still in our thoughts.
So you've not written that one off as of yet?
I haven't. No, not at all.
Tyrone Roberts has been mentioned as a potential incomer for next year. You obviously know him really well. Is he on your radar?
Oh, I've known Tyrone since 2007 or 8, maybe, when he'd taken himself to Newcastle. We've crossed paths a few times at the Titans and at the North Devils, but that one has absolutely no truth to it. The last time I spoke to Tyrone was a couple of texts in and around the North Devils grand final last year, when they went back to back. That was the extent of it. Tyrone's a great kid, got a lot of time for him, but we've had absolutely no correspondence as far as a contract goes. So I'm not quite sure where that one surfaced from.
What about the squad this week then? What potential changes are you mulling over?
Well, Nene and Tom Holroyd are both back and available, so they'll be in the 17 this week.
You've potentially got the chance of fielding one of the stronger sides you've had for some time, haven't you? Are you encouraged about? I know you've obviously got the 2 or 3 guys out long term at the moment, but are you encouraged about the health of the squad at the moment?
I believe our squad has a lot of talent in it. Bringing it out every week, no matter who's playing and who's not, is always the challenge. I go into every game feeling like we have a team that's strong and a team that can play well. It's good to have players available for selection, so you have decisions to make. And we're in a good position there. We're getting healthier. Still missing a few, which every team would be at this point in time. So we're excited about the group that we've got ready to go this week, and looking forward to a massive task at Warrington.
And just an update on Zane's progress, really. Are you still optimistic that he's progressing as you'd like, and that he may feature again this season, or has your view on that changed?
No, he as far as I know, he's just ticking away gradually. He's been out at training and doing some real gentle work, well, some work within the parameters that the doctors allow at this point, but it's all tracking well. He's feeling good. So that'll be just a medical stage progression towards getting back into some intense training, and pending that all things go well there, and whatever tests need to be done in sort of another 5 or 6 weeks time to give him the all clear, we'll then assess his availability to play. But timeline wise, there's plenty of likely opportunity that he'll be able to feature.
And Warrington, how difficult a team are they to read at the moment? Obviously, they've had some big highs and quite a few lows as well this year.
I think that's the nature of the competition. It's all, sort of form doesn't count. It's all names on a page until everyone gets out there and shows what they can do on that particular night. So we're under no illusions that, Warrington will be looking to get some consistency and find some rhythm. They've been there or thereabouts in lots of the games that they've played. So, the results don't necessarily indicate what a threat they are, and they've got a very good squad and some real belief in their system. So, we're going to have to be good.
How is Cameron Smith? Obviously, he's in the 21, but it was a bit of a doubt on Friday. Is that still the case? Yeah,
still a doubt. He hasn't trained yet this week, but we'll see how he is tomorrow on our last team run and see if he's going to be able to do a job on Thursday.
If he were to miss out, would Corey Johnson starting at hooker and Jared O'Connor at 13 be an option?
Oh, that's an option, but unlikely to be the case if Cam's no good. I like what Corey's been doing coming off the bench at the back end of games, and I think that's probably where he'll feature.
How's Justin Sangare?
He's not too bad. He's got a little sort of relatively minor plantar fascia injury, so he'll be out for 1, 2, 3 weeks maybe. We'll just see how it settles.
I noticed when something was going on, the referee spoke to the captain after Cam Smith had gone off the other day, and he called Jared O'Connor over. Is that significant? Is Jared part of a leadership group? Do you see him as a future captain?
Oh, look,
Jared, the nearest bloke.
Look, Jared's a leader, but I'm not sure what happened there. Whether he was just the nearest bloke, or I can't remember what time of the game that was, whether Cam was on the field, or maybe Ash just didn't fancy running in from the wing to have a chat about not much. So yeah, I mean Ash and Cam are our leaders out there at the moment. But Jared had a moment that brought a chuckle in review, that's for sure.
Yeah. In terms of Warrington, obviously, it was a hefty defeat over there I think it's 4 months ago. Now, are you in a better state now than you were then?
I'd tell you after the game on Thursday night, it is a long time ago. There's a lot of water under the bridge from there. We've been through a lot, but adversity can shape you and change you and bring about a shift. And there was a big performance last Friday. We got some real belief out of that. We've pulled through reasonably well with injury, so we're looking to repeat a strong performance and see if that's good enough to beat a team that's at the top of the table.
Obviously, that's been an issue, stringing 2 or 3 wins together or performances together in a row. Presumably, that's the big aim now.
Yeah, well, there was a few games there where I felt we did perform at a good level, but we didn't get the result. But in the end, all people are looking for is the W, whether it's a good performance or not. And that's certainly the stage of the season that we're at. But we know if we perform well, we're very, very difficult to beat. So that's our opportunities to find that good performance and see if it's good enough.
Yeah, just a couple of quick ones on the general overall situation. You won 9 of your final 11 games to reach the playoffs last year. Do you expect it will take a similar run to make the top 6 this year?
I haven't done the maths, and there's been that many so-called upsets as the season's been this year, that I'm not going to ride the highs and lows of other people's results or looking at the ladder. It is one game at a time. It has to be. Always, that's my mentality. Nothing's changed there. But it's important that we get another one this weekend.
Do you get the sense that there's a finish like that in this current group, that you can go on a streak like that?
I've got a lot of belief in this group, and that hasn't changed at any point this season. It's a matter of for us collectively finding that good level of performance back-to-back weeks. And some of those games last year we actually didn't play that well, I didn't think, but we found a way. So there's got to be that element of scrapping and scrambling and doing whatever it takes to get a result. But ideally we're chasing that performance, and I think there's a lot of talent, a lot of belief in the group, possibly even and more so than last year.
Yeah. Every year's a new year, obviously, but can a positive experience like that help the guys who went through it?
Yeah, I definitely believe, and it's something that goes back a little bit further than that in this club as well. I believe that the club's finished with a late flurry several times that's ended up making it a good season, and I think you can only assess a season based on how you are at the end, not where you are at the middle or at the start. So, I think for some of those guys that went through that last year, they'd have to have confidence we can do it again, because the past does give you feedback.
Magical performance for everyone at Leeds Rhinos, for the Burrows family, for yourself, for your teammates against Huddersfield. I suppose that was a special occasion for everyone involved, and I suppose the emotions at play meant that you got a performance. You're playing Warrington now, where circumstances are very different. It's back to the nitty grind of the league. How are you going to sort of manage that? Is it a different sort of an occasion in terms of coming off such a high in terms of going in now to play Warrington?
Yeah, it certainly was a great event for the club on Friday, honouring Rob and his family, and also raising awareness for the MND community was a big thing. Clearly we played well. It was another important day to acknowledge Bev Risman and family, and the condolences there. And then it turned out to be a great weekend for the club, with our PDRL, our wheelchair teams having hard-fought wins, and then a cracking day on Sunday with our Hall of Fame lunch, where we're 4 new members in there. So it was a big event for the club over the weekend. We didn't overly talk about Rob and the MND stuff. We certainly knew we were aware of it, but we didn't build that game up massively from an emotional point of view. It was important that we responded to some previous results, and it's also very important that we respond to a big win. It's sometimes easy to bounce back from a disappointing performance, but bouncing back from a big win is something that's really important, and that's what good teams can do.
Yeah, and Rohan, you mentioned there the last time you played Warrington, obviously there was an awful lot of learning points to take away from it, and obviously they've been up near the top of the Daunchlons for most of the season so far. Is there certain things that maybe that you have taken away from that game that you have implemented since that have made you a better team this time around to face Warrington?
Yeah, Warrington were red hot that night. They were really they performed well as a team, and they were hungry, and they executed their plays. We had some moments in that game where we just clearly let ourselves down in some sort of uncanny moments that made the scoreboard not what we liked. But there was large parts of that game where they were really hard fought. We know we're going to have to compete hard over there. Traveling over there on a Thursday night is going to be a tough gig. So we've taken some learns out of that game, but we've also taken some learns out of every game this year.
Yeah, and Rohan, finally for me, obviously you're entering the business end of the season now, and some will find it sort of strange that you're already thinking ahead of 2024 with sort of acquisitions and making acquisitions in the pipeline. Is that an ongoing sort of business that happens in terms of being involved in a sports franchise, that you always have to think, you always just 2 steps ahead, even have to be looked at even when you're in the business end of the season? Is it a distraction for you and your players to hear news about players coming in next year, and some players might be not coming back or staying on? Are they sort of distractions, or as sports professionals, are you just, that's the norm, we deal with it and we don't let it in between our 2 ears?
Yeah, well, it's a normal thing in rugby league. It's what rugby league's created for itself. The lack of genuine transfer windows, and players can pretty much freely move whenever they want. Certainly within the NRL, and then a little bit, Super League deadline things open up officially on May 1st, and it doesn't close. So, it's an interesting system and concept. It's not one I'd endorse by design, but it is what it is. It's certainly a distraction for some people at various times. We're dealing with human nature, and knowing where your future lies is not always an easy thing to handle, but it's a professional sport. We all have to get on with doing our job as best we can, and performances, take care of themselves. And you can't always keep every player. You can't always get every player that you want to get, but you got to have an eye to the future, and having a roster that can do well now, and also make decisions that are going to help the future as well, and not, if you just make short-term decisions all the time, then you're going to end up in a pickle at some point. So we're trying to keep an eye on the future, but every day at training is certainly about the present.
And just one follow-on question from you. Raised an interesting point there about the possible systems in place. So would you be in favour of something that we have in the football game in terms of transfer markets, special windows, maybe 5-week windows, maybe towards the season, to get all this out of the way, that it shouldn't be happening, and in terms of the business end of the season, all these sort of stuff in the background? Do you think that's something rugby league could learn from other sports?
Oh, maybe so. There's a lot of sports that do things a lot differently. I think rugby league's one of the few sports where you can be contracted somewhere else but playing, in a different club. So, that's out of my area of influence, and the system is what it is. So we'll crack on and do the best we can with it.
Amongst all these sort of rumours and reports over the last few days, I think one said that Aidan Caesar would be going back to Australia. Is there any update on that?
Not that I'm aware of.
And also this week, yesterday it was confirmed that Sam Walters would be going to Wigan finally. Presume he leaves. I mean, obviously he's not leaving straight away, but I presume he has your best wishes moving forward. Yeah,
Sam's worked really hard to get to this point in his career. He's overcome a lot. Growing up as a kid and fighting to this point, he's served this club well. He's in his sort of formative stages of being an every week Super League player, and he's done a good job. Good job for the club. We made him a strong offer, and that's just the way things go. But Sam's very committed towards having a strong finish here. He's got a very tight group of friends here. So we've got to crack on with it now, and then Sam will see the next stage of his career elsewhere.
And also this week you've got Nenny McDonald back. Does that create a bit of not a selection headache maybe, but like he's played a lot of very good rugby on the wing, and you've obviously got David Foster too and Ash Handley playing well there. No,
he's an experienced centre and winger, so it's good to have that versatility there. But he'll be playing centre this week, and we'll that's the way we'll roll this week.